It's no secret that the Darkling's like, ma'am, I'm trying to film. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am joined by a few guests, my dog Apollo and my dog Mimosa, who wouldn't stop crying unless I let them in the room. Also, my Kylo Ren doll is here since we're talking evil villains today. Today, as I hinted at in my introduction video, we're going to be talking Shadow and Bone by Libros. So, spoiler, I am going to be spoiling the entirety of the first book in the Shadow and Bone series, so you have been warned. If you want a spoiler-free summary but still want to hear my thoughts, I'm going to leave a link down in the description where you can find my blog livinginlibros.com, and I'm going to leave a review where I don't spoil the book, but I also give you a good summary so that you know what the general gist of the book is before the show premieres in April. What you need to know about this book series is that it takes place in fictional Russia, I believe, and we have what are people known as Grisha who can wield magical powers. Some of them can like make over your face and like not like transform it, like give you like, let's say, like an ogre face or anything like that. They just like make your features like pop, they accentuate it. There's also people who can control like the winds. In the first book, we are introduced to Alina, and Alina is a map maker in the Ravikin army. She is also in love with her best friend, Mal, who she's known since childhood. And overall, Alina's life is kind of boring. Like, she doesn't have any magical powers. She's currently not dating anyone. She's just quiet and in love with her best friend. However, things get crazy for Alina when the military decides to cross the fold. And the fold is basically a very creepy borderland with flesh-eating shadow people / demon-looking people who basically just, like I said, eat your flesh and they kill you. So, when the military crosses this fold, Alina ends up seeing some of her fellow soldiers getting attacked, taken away by these flesh-eating monsters, and one comes for her baby, her hottie, her BFF Mal, and Alina does something unexpected. She manages to summon light from within herself, which apparently scares off these demons, therefore leading Mal to survive and the rest of the people who were in the fold to survive as well. However, Alina passes out. Then you blame her, and that was a pretty traumatic experience. So when Alina wakes up, she discovers that she's going to be taken to the Darkling, who is a super powerful Grisha, and he leads the second army. Which is basically made up of other Grisha. So the Darkling, he's like the stylish bad boy of Ravnica that everyone is a little scared of. And I mean, he wears all black. He basically does what he wants. However, everyone's scared of him, but no one has seen him do anything evil. They're just like scared of him because of all the power he holds, because supposedly he is descended from a long line of Darklings, and apparently his great-grandfather is the one who created the fold with those flesh-eating monsters. When the Darkling is introduced to Alina, he is, can you say excited? He's very excited. The Darkling can summon darkness, as his name suggests. He's very powerful. He can summon the dark, and Alina can summon the light. And according to him, he has been waiting for Alina for a very long time, and he believes that she's going to be the one who's going to help him destroy the fold and end the war. Since right now, the Ravnica is at war. Don't ask me with who, because I'm not paying that much attention. So the Darkling calls Alina the Sun Summoner. And Alina's like, a little confused because she's never had this ability before. This is the first time she's finding out she can actually summon light, and that she's actually like not a normal person but actually a Grisha. So the Darkling personally has her escorted to the little palace, which is where he lives, where he lives. But it's on the same estate as where the king and queen of Ravnica live. And he wants to take her there to train and to develop her powers. But on the way there, there's some trouble, and her carriage ends up being like attacked. Bodyguards end up fighting for their lives. And Alina, since she still doesn't know how she was able to summon that light when she saved Maul, is just helpless. But luckily the Darkling comes and he cuts one of the perpetrators in half. And Alina's like, what was that? That's scary. Oh my gosh, she's very powerful. However, this somehow brings them closer. When Alina finally arrives at the little palace, she's introduced to all the different kind of Grisha who work there, who are under the Darkling's care. And they're basically all like learning the history of Ravnica, learning how to control their powers, how to strengthen them, how to become like better soldiers basically. But Alina is having trouble summoning her own power, and she doesn't understand that everyone expects her to be like this great person, this person who's going to end the war, and Alina's like disappointed in herself because she can't do it. She can't summon that light. Alina begins to think the Darkling is mistaken. However, the Darkling tells Alina everything's fine. He's not worried at all about her not being able to summon her powers. Alina is making friends at the palace, in particular a chica named Genya, who is a heartrender, which means she's able to accent other people's features, like give them like, I'm not gonna say a facelift, but like she can smooth out their features, like enhance them, give them that Botox, I suppose, some magical Botox. And she in particular works closely with the queen, but she's also the Darkling, one of the Darkling's favorites. Alina eventually learns how to summon her light, the sun basically, and the Darkling mentions that she can become even more powerful with an amplifier. An amplifier is made out of animal bone, and it basically enhances a Grisha's power like to the max. Now, this amplifier that the Darkling wants to help Alina find is that of a stag. And according to this fairy tale, this particular amplifier will be very powerful since it's coming from a very ancient and mystical creature. It's basically like a unicorn, like making an amplifier out of a unicorn's bones. So it's going to be all powerful. Darkling's gonna need some help finding this amplifier, and Alina mentions her best friend Maul, who we met in the beginning, because Maul is a great tracker in the army. He knows how to find things, find people, and she tells the Darkling about him and how he can find the amplifier no problem. So the Darkling's like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he's gonna help us. Now, at this point in the story, Alina and Maul are like a little tense. Alina writes him letters saying how much she misses him, misses their time in the army, and it's sad that she wasn't able to tell him goodbye before she was swept away to practice her powers. However, Maul hasn't written her back at all, so Alina's feeling a little hurt that her crush and her best friend since childhood is just like ignoring her. Now, despite that, she still puts in a good word for him. Now, after she tells the Darkling about Maul and his tracking abilities, the Darkling's like, cool. And he is off to go arrange this, but not before stealing a kiss from Alina, who, let me just insert this here, was not very consensual. He just like kissed her out of nowhere. It was a little strange. Anyways, now, after the Darkling kisses her, Alina is a little confused. She's like, does he like me? She's also thinking, does he like me? I kind of have a crush on him, but I'm also still kind of hurt and crushing on my best friend Maul. So Alina's not that good at her poker face, And Genya warns her about falling in love with powerful men. And Alina's like, okay. She takes it to heart somewhat, but she really believes in the Darkling and what he's doing, because he believes in her and her ability to summon the light. So there's that trust between the two of them. When the Darkling eventually returns, there's this big party at the palace, and all the Grisha are ready to put on a show for the king and his guests. And that includes the Darkling and Alina. So the Darkling and Alina's part in the show is basically to show off their complementary powers and give hope to the people of Ravnica that there is a chance to end the war and there's a chance to destroy the Fold. After their performance, the Darkling and Alina get a little turned on by it, and they end up going to a secret room and making out. And they're getting pretty hot and heavy when they hear people outside of the door where they're at. And then the Darkling asks Alina if he can come to her room tonight. And Alina, before Alina can even answer, he's gone. He's out the door because she hesitated too much. That same night, Alina starts to wonder if the Darkling's gonna pay her a visit. She didn't exactly say no, but she hints that she would very much like the Darkling to come and visit her that night. However, her instructor, I cannot pronounce her name. Her instructor, Anyways, Alina's instructor ends up coming to her room instead and basically tells Alina that she needs to go. She needs to escape the little palace at this moment because this is going to be her only chance. And Alina's confused why she has to leave. And her instructor tells her, look, the Darkling isn't who you think he is. He wants to give you an amplifier, but not to help you grow. He wants to give you the amplifier so he can control your power. And he doesn't want to destroy the Fold. He wants to turn the Fold into a weapon. After Alina decides that her instructor is actually telling the truth, she takes her advice and she flees. And while she's on the run, she's paranoid. The Darkling's a very powerful man and he has his people everywhere. But eventually Alina ends up being hunted by his people and she takes refuge in a mountain. But as it turns out, one of those soldiers who are hunting them is Mal. And Mal, he's not so loyal to the Darkling as we thought. Mal ends up helping Alina escape, and they end up literally running away together and going into hiding together as well. After the danger is a little over, Alina and Mal end up confessing their feelings to each other. So Alina tells Mal that she needs the amplifier that he was searching for the Darkling. And she needs to get it before he does so that she can control the power, not him. So they go out and search for it. It takes Mal a few tries, but eventually they find it. And they find it. However, Alina is the one who has to make that kill in order for it to become her amplifier. But Alina hesitates. She sees this beautiful creature that no one's ever seen or heard of except from fictional stories. And this hesitation is her downfall. Because while she's staring into the eyes of this stag, the Darkling and his people come and they don't hesitate. They got the stag. They kill the stag. And so the Darkling already has the Grisha on hand to make the amplifier. So he takes the stag's horns and he combines them into a necklace, and he gets his fellow Grisha to turn it to seal the necklace around Alina. The Darkling was the one who killed the stag and put it on Alina. It is him who's able to control it. So he uses his power to therefore control Alina. And his excuse is, well, it didn't have to be this way if you hadn't run from the little palace, which, okay, there. She believed him, she trusted him, but she doesn't agree with what he wants to do with the Fold. And the Darkling basically is like, look, we could have ruled Ravnica together, and we still can. After this, the Darkling takes Alina and Mal captive, and he basically uses Mal to get Alina to fall in line. But he also promises that he's going to execute Maul on the Fold, and Alina has to watch. So the Darkling gathers up his people, gathers up Alina and Maul, and they all go to the Fold. This is when Alina learns that her BFF that she made in the Little Palace, Genya, was actually spying for the Darkling this whole time, and that those letters she kept sending Maul and telling Genya about how she misses Maul were never received by him because the Darkling kept them. On the Fold, the Darkling ends up showing his true intentions to some diplomats that he took along to the trip, and basically through Alina shows them that he can manipulate the Fold, expand it however he likes, use it to take over Ravnica and get these people to submit to him and treat him as the real king. And he ends up expanding, with Alina's help, expanding the Fold into a nearby village and getting those horrible, creepy shadow people to attack those people of that village. Alina ends up breaking the Darkling's hold on her, and she ends up having that amplifier submit to her instead of him now, and she is able to escape. She's able to escape the Darkling, and she takes Maul with them, and they run away from the Fold, away from that village that was destroyed, and they keep going. Basically, that leaves the Darkling and whoever was with him trapped in the Fold. And that's basically how this book 1 ends. Now, let me get into my thoughts. I really love the twist. I honestly forgot the Darkling was supposed to be the villain of this story. That's on me for being a clown about that. However, I was honestly rooting for Alina to go with the Darkling. I do not like her with Maul. I don't know if it's me not being the biggest fan of the friends to lovers trope, but her and Maul, boring. Alina and the Darkling, that's interesting. They have complementary powers. I can get behind that. Why does the Darkling insist on being such an ass? I can't even know. Just know he literally tried to enslave her. He did enslave her. It's over. Okay. I'm conflicted because I want a redemption because I love the concept of them having complementary powers. But this man, he's a little hard to get behind. I love that the Darkling was written as a misunderstood Dark Prince, which in the end turned out to be he wasn't so misunderstood and he actually was a Dark Prince the whole time. But I love that. Sorry, Apollo. The last thing I wanted to mention is that I've noticed that the writing in this novel seems like a little novice. I've read Leigh Bardugo's other book, I've read The Six of Crows duology and I've read Ninth House, and I feel like this book, and honestly this series, well, it's more in the first book where I notice it. I feel like Leigh Bardugo hadn't found her writing voice yet, or her writing, her style, which is kind of unique. Those are my thoughts on Shadow and Bone. I shall see you in my next video. Since I don't know what it's gonna be, I'll just leave you guessing. Anyways, bye.